Tuesday night Krug show. Look who's in the house, the great Raj Melwani. And it is OT week. That's right. Niners on the field on Thursday. We got a lot to get to. Welcome. Off and running Tuesday night on the Krug Show, brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. Man, they got a third location coming. It's coming in Petaluma. Man, you're going to love Pig and a Pickle in downtown Petaluma. It's going to be an awesome addition to downtown Petaluma. Check them out. Get the brisket chili. It's all amazing. Damon is an amazing cook. He's got a fantastic menu. And it is terrific food. So thank you to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. The Krug Show is also presented by Prize Picks, America's #1 sports picks app. We'll do a lineup tonight. Prize Picks is super simple. You just pick more or less on player stats or even game outcomes. You build your lineup. It's available in almost all the states, including California. So if you haven't checked it out yet, use code HMA. And when you play $5, you'll get $50 in lineups, and it will happen instantly. And the Krug Show is also brought to you by our good friends at Novato Chevrolet, voted top car dealership by Carfax. Family owned for over 50 years. When I buy a car, I buy it from Novato Chevrolet. Go see my guy David Corral. They've got a family-owned dealership, friendly staff, huge selection, great financing options. Bay Area's EV headquarters. The owner, Gus, is a personal friend. When I buy a Chevrolet, I buy it from Novato Chevrolet. All right. Thanks to all of our sponsors. The links are in the description for all of our sponsors. But guess who's here, ladies and gentlemen? That's right, the great Raj. They're going crazy. The studio audience, we appreciate all of you guys being here. We're not going to talk draft.
I hope not. It was a while back, man.
And a while back. We're moved on from the draft, but I haven't moved on.
You never move on from the draft. You could talk about draft next year's draft.
Who should the Niners? All right. We won't talk draft, but we are fired up to have everybody here, and it is OTA week. And one of the things that kind of caught my eye was a story that came out today that Fred Warner has been, he believes that swimming played a major role in his recovery from his broken/dislocated ankle. Warner's been working closely, I guess, with the San Jose State swim team. He also has been doing some boxing. Raj, you're, as a physical therapist and as a guy who rehabilitates bodies for a living, talk to us what you think George, as a guy who tore that ankle up really bad, right? Tore up the
Fred.
Tore up that ankle really, really bad. What is swimming going to do for that ankle? Because it's a full dislocation.
Dude, I love hydrotherapy. Honestly, it's probably one of the best things you can do, especially for athletes. I work with a lot of older patients, but if I can get them in the pool, 100% it's great because, the buoyant forces help. You have less stress on the joints and stuff. You can do all types of exercises in the pool. Also, aerobic capacity or swimming if you can. It really helps your endurance. It's honestly, you can do a lot of stuff in the pool that you can't do out of water, right? Because there's so much stress on the joint. So makes it a little easier. Hydrotherapy, even before that, we saw him training in the hyperbaric chamber and we saw him doing other, the water treadmill. It's just so much easier to kind of get into a lot of the exercises. Honestly, it's one of the best things you can do when you're rehabbing from any injury. So good stuff.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Raj, but Mendez just says, is it me or does Larry's camera a little blurry?
Yeah, you're on the blurry side, my guy.
I'm on the blurry side. Raj, can you feel for 90 seconds as I unblurry myself?
Yeah, I don't know why you're blurry, man. We got to talk about...
I'm not sure. Maybe it's the microphone. Maybe it's...
I don't know. Your camera's cooked, man. You're like the Oklahoma City Thunder cooking the Spurs.
Let me walk out and I'll check the camera. I'll be right back. Give me 30 seconds.
No doubt.
Talk amongst yourselves, everybody.
Yeah, it looks like Larry was swimming underwater, right? I don't know what's going on with Larry's camera, but hopefully tomorrow we get some good information. Good news. This OTA starting tomorrow. I'm excited. Obviously, the team gets to meet with the media on Thursday. Larry was telling me behind the scenes he's going to be there Thursday. Kyle Shanahan meeting with the media. All the players, not all of them, but several of the players will be meeting with the media on Thursday. I'm excited. Niners OTAs, one step closer.
Still kind of blurry.
Still blurry, Larry.
Give me. I may need 30 seconds here. I'll be about.
Might. Yeah, Larry might need to get a new camera there. It's unfortunate for him. The camera's worse than mine. That's not good. My man, I am becoming Death Destroyer. Says I work out at the pool at the YMCA with 80-year-olds. I'm telling you, that water aerobics, the old people love it. I love it. Everybody loves it. Blurry Kruger. I think that's what we're calling him. Oldies love water aerobics. That's true. They love it. I worked at an outpatient clinic with the old folks and the water. They loved it. I think it's a little better.
A little better. I think so too. I think it's a little better. All right. What did I miss?
They were calling you Blurry Kruger. Blurry Kruger.
Now, Larry, it's time to buy another camera. The camera
might be.
The camera's actually in pretty good shape. I think it's not that old of a camera.
They want to know who you're looking to see at OTAs, Larry. Who are you excited about?
Well, it's funny. I'm, and maybe I shouldn't be, but I'm a believer in Nick Martin still. And I to me, what I saw last year, I mean, if a guy's that fast, that athletic, he made over 100 tackles at Oklahoma State. He ran in the 4.5s. He had 26 reps at 225. Then when he got into a game with the 49ers, he played at a pretty freaking high level. He played 14 snaps. He made 7 tackles. I don't know what the heck happened with his concussion and all that, but I'm a believer. I'm a believer. Johnny Holland told me he believes in this guy, and if Johnny Holland believes in him, I believe in him. There's all kinds of reason to believe in him. I mean, to me, when I watch Nick Martin run around out there, I'm like, this guy's physically dominant. And I know we're expecting Dre Greenlaw to rejoin Fred Warner, but you know what? If Nick Martin is what I think he can be, he's gonna interrupt that and say, you know what? It's my second year. It's time for me to play. So I'm looking forward to the competition. I think the competition in this camp is going to be significant. I think the competition in camp this summer is going to be significant, and I think it's going to be really, really fierce at linebacker. And I like Dre Greenlaw. I'm glad he's back, but I'm really eager to see both Jaden Duggar and maybe more specifically Nick Martin.
No, I'm optimistic. I'm hopeful for Nick Martin. I think he has talent, but I was a little concerned last year. Right, he was your 3rd round pick. Didn't really get a lot of playing time. You got a lot of special teams at some point, and you're kind of worried. But obviously, they take sometimes a little time to develop these players. And then he had the concussion. That was a long concussion. There is a long concussion. So hopefully he's okay. I mean, there's a lot of talent in this linebacker group, and the 49ers always have good linebackers. I love Dre Greenlaw, but he does have injury risk, right? Coming back. He's always kind of had these nagging injuries. So we hope that Nick Martin come back to speed, because you're going to need him. You're going to need that depth. And can he take that year 2 leap? I hope so, but I don't know. I am a little concerned because I expected more out of him last year. He didn't start, and you drafted him quite early, but he does have talent. He does have potential. If there's one position the 49ers can really develop, it's that linebacker position. So hopefully we'll see. I know that's your boy. You've been a Nick Martin truther since day one.
I believe in him.
And we're going to see. We're going to see.
Well, it's funny. Like, I thought, both D. Winters and Tatum Bethune were noticeably better in their second year than their Tatum. First year.
Yeah.
Tatum was a 24 7th round pick. First year, he was pretty good. But the second year, I mean, he got playing time this last year. He had a 16 tackle game.
He's frozen.
Am I frozen?
He froze up, Larry.
Really?
There we go. You were like,
it's never good. It's never a good thing. Frozen Larry's never good. Sometimes, certain streams at certain times, for whatever reason, you get the curse. Who knows? Maybe today's the stream. But no, I believe in Nick Martin, and I think Nick Martin is, if I didn't think he was capable, then that's one thing. Like, I look at, and I hate to say this because it's gonna come across wrong, and it's gonna be more like, oh, you're ripping this guy, as opposed to, I'm just trying to make a point. I don't have any hope for Junior Bergen. None. And it's not that Junior Bergen isn't a good guy. He's a great guy. It's just that you have to have a certain level of athleticism to make it in the NFL, especially as a return guy. You got to be like maybe the most athletic guy on the team. Rashid Shaheed is like the fastest, most athletic Seahawk. Generally, your return guy is like one of your most explosive, fast guys. So, Junior Bergen, I just don't think is an NFL elite athlete. So I don't have a lot of hope for Junior Bergen.
They cut him last year when they brought Kendricks in, right? When they cut him, right?
I mean, he's still on the team now.
Oh, did they bring him back this
offseason?
Yeah,
they must have brought him back. I mean, either they cut him or they moved him on some list or something.
He'll be on like practice squad list or something.
Yeah, well, I don't know if he will be this year. He was last year. But I mean, there's a guy that he's a young player and he was a draft pick, but I don't really have a lot of belief. Nick Martin, on the other hand, really has a lot of talent. I mean, if you watch him, you look at that movement ability, and you're like, whoa, this guy's fast and strong and athletic and can cover a lot of space. And so I'm hoping that in year 2 here, and this would be year 1 under Raheem Morris. That's the other thing too. I kind of like Raheem Morris coming in because Raheem Morris is very capable, and Raheem Morris is a very good coach who has found a way to develop talent with the Rams and the Falcons. Yeah. And the Niners right now, Raj, I mean, you know it. I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but the Niners need to develop their young talent. CJ West, Alfred Collins, Mikael Williams, Nick Martin, Tatum Bethune, Jair Brown, Malik Mustafa, Upton Stout, Jacob Robinson. Lots of young players need to develop. And I'm really excited because I really feel like, not that Robert Saleh is not a good coach. I think Robert Saleh is a great coach. But I am really excited for Raheem Morris because I think Morris has proven at multiple stops that he can develop young talent, and they need their young talented players developed. And if Martin can improve in year 2 the way that Winters and Bethune improved in year 2, I think he's going to have a monster year.
I hope so. That's what we're hoping for. That's what I'm saying. Like, can he have that year 2 develop, impact growth? There's some players, they really take that leap. I'm just worried. I hope he can stay healthy. I think that's really what you can say with most players on this roster is stay healthy. Like Ricky Pearsall, you can say that about a lot of players. But yeah, I really was concerned last year when he had that concussion. That was like 7-week concussion, man. That was a hell of a. Must have got his bell rung.
Who's your X factor going into this year? I mean, and it's funny. Coach Yak put this out on his thing today about who's the X factor, and there was like 150 different names that were thrown out there. And there was all kinds of different names. I mean, there were a lot of people that said Pearsall. I mean, I think that was the name that I probably saw the most as far as X factor. But who would you say? I mean, I know who I'm going with. A lot of people would just shoot at the top of the list and say, hey, Nick Bosa, CMC, Brock, Kyle, whatever. But me, I'm going to go a little bit deeper than that. But yeah. But what do you think? I mean, there's no wrong. I'll say this: when I saw all the different names that people threw out to his post, it kind of reminded me that there's no wrong answer here. There's which were my favorite kinds of tests in high school, by the way, at St. Ignatius. When there was no wrong answer, that was my kind of a test.
Yeah, there's a good question. There's a lot of answers. I'm going to give you 2 answers.
Okay.
I'm going to have one on defense and one on offense. So my first one, defense, it's Raheem Morris. Like you just mentioned Raheem Morris's name. Yeah. You lose one of the best defensive coordinators, right? You lose Saleh. I mean, he kept that defense floating with really all the injuries with Bosa, with Warner, right? All the players that are X factors, but Robert Saleh really put this team in position to win many games. And it was like a ragtag bunch of guys, right? He got Eric Kendricks off the street, a couple other guys, Garrett Wallows. Like, he really put this team together. It was like, wow, how are they doing this? And, he leaves, takes the head coaching job as he should with the Titans. And now you got Raheem Morris. He's coming in. And the 49ers, when they've been bad, have had bad coordinators, right? Steve Wilkes and et cetera, et cetera. And then when they've been good, they've had good defense coordinators, D'Amico Ryans, Robert Saleh. So I feel like Raheem Morris really is going to be an X factor. Can he coach this team to the next level? Can he be a good defense, and not a good one, but he needs to be great, because the Niners have gotten close. Can this defensive coordinator finally put this team over the hump? They had 20 sacks last year. I get it, they were injured, but this guy's got to really develop these younger players, Romello Height, et cetera, and take them to that next level. So I think Raheem Morris on the defensive side of
good call. I like that one.
The game. And then on offense, You can go all sorts of ways. I know people can say CMC, Ricky Persall, Bosa, or Brock, all these people. To me, it's the offensive line, just the unit of the offensive line. Because if you can't protect Brock Purdy, you're screwed. If you can't open the holes for CMC, you're screwed. If you can't give Brock time to throw it to Mike Evans, we're done. So it's the offensive line for me and Raheem Morris.
Let me ask you about that offensive line for a second. For me, by the way, my X factors, and I love your Raheem Morris one because I think that's brilliant because there's no question Raheem Morris is going to have a different outlook on this thing, a different set of eyes, a different plan, different experiences. I think that's a good one. I'm going on offense with Kalen Black.
Okay.
I just think that, they had McCaffrey last year, but they couldn't get to the playoffs with a fresh and rested and bouncy McCaffrey because they used him so damn much. And it's because they didn't trust anybody else. And they didn't use Brian Robinson enough. And so they just kind of wore down CMC. And he had 12 games. I looked this up just an hour ago. 12 games last year for McCaffrey where he averaged under 3.5 yards a carry. Wow. 12 games. He had 5 games. He averaged under 3 yards a carry.
Yeah.
So that's just the efficiency wasn't there. And he was out of juice at the end. And they just got to stop using him as much as they do. They use him to finish games. They use him to begin games. They use him as a receiver. They use him as a safety valve. It's CMC, 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 CMC. And Kyle admitted it this week. Him and Lynch were on with Tolbert. And Kyle admitted it. Hey, we overused the guy. We didn't use our other guys. We need to do a better job at balancing this thing out. And I like Kalen Black to finish games. I like Kalen Black in short yardage. I like Kalen Black on those hard carries between the tackles. I like Kalen Black to freshen up CMC so that CMC is CMC come playoff time.
Yeah, I think we all know he has to be healthy going into the playoffs because by the time he gets there, he's kind of worn out and he doesn't have that juice. But I think a lot of it, like I said, in my opinion, it goes to that offensive line because yeah, you have Trent. Yeah, you had, some of these like Dominic Cooney. He kind of had like a sputtering start. He had the injury from training camp, but kind of carried into the season, into the second part of the season. I think McKivitz was better than a lot of people are going to give him credit, but Brandel wasn't good. Left guard situation was up in the air. And that poor blocking, I think, led to some of those poor efficiency numbers, right? The numbers that he was getting, like the low yards per carry. Obviously, he was getting tired as the season went on, but I feel a lot of it comes down to that run blocking. So whoever the hell plays left guard, which is going to be a big competition, needs to be able to help. And Trent Williams, I love him. But he ain't getting any younger, Larry. He's closer to my age than he should be. So not a good thing, right? So hopefully these guys can stay healthy and block and open the lanes and do what they got to do. Because also the Niners rely on the tight ends a lot. And we don't know how healthy George Kittle's going to be at the beginning of the season. And he's a big part of that blocking. Kyle Juszczyk's a big part of that blocking. So that O-line, to me, has to be ready. But that's a good, I like Black. But my question, and I think I've asked you this before, you think Black's going to take the running back 2 role over Jordan James, who the 49ers like? That's the battle to me. It's going to be Black versus Jordan James. And tell me why you like Black over James.
Well, I mean, James is not fast. He's more of a receiver, and he's got a great build for running back. But I don't know. I just, I was not the hugest Jordan James fan at Oregon. And I look at Kalen Black and I just see a culture player who's really tough, really strong, and can do it all. I mean, he doesn't have this awesome stride. He's more of like a quarter horse type gait, lots of power. Okay. But I think he's a trustworthy blocker. I think he's a trustworthy receiver. And I think he's a trustworthy short yardage, second and third effort guy. I just think, he's also like Kalen Black is like one of those players that, and I understand why the Niners reached so much on him because they felt like they needed him. And he was really, to me, like when I watched him, I remember in the notes, I just wrote, Niners got to get that guy. Wow. You know what I mean? It's like, I've seen bigger backs. I've seen faster backs. But if you watch this guy for a few plays, you're like, oh, God. Niners should have got that guy, and that they did, and they reached on him, but who cares? He's really, really strong, and I think he's jacked. He's super jacked, but he's also functionally strong. The legs are strong. He moves the pile. His carries in the Senior Bowl were telling. He should have been tired. He wasn't. He was explosive. He's my guy as far as a wild card on offense. Now, wild card on special teams, I'm going Christian Kirk because I really think Christian Kirk is going to commandeer the return role. And I think he's going to be good at it. I think he's going to be really good at it. And my wild card on defense, your team jumps dramatically if you land a player like Brock Purdy, a guy that's a great player who you got in the 7th round. And the only thing better than the 7th round are undrafted. And the 49ers added 5 undrafted players. And I got to think that these are guys that their scouts either loved or maybe Raheem Morris loved. But I want to know, if you told me that none of these 5 guys are going to be on the team, okay. If you told me that 5 of these 5 guys were going to be on the team, I'd be like, okay. The list is Mikhail Kamara, James Thompson Jr., Bryson Eason, Jalen Stroman, and Larry Worth III. Larry Worth is maybe a safety, maybe a linebacker. Stroman's a safety. Thompson and Eason are defensive tackles, and Kamara's a defensive end. Those are 5 undrafted players there. I think the Niners got some real players here, man. I really do. I've looked at all these guys really, really closely. Eason's enormously strong and just kind of a real strong run defender, but a former linebacker who can actually move. James Thompson is stronger. I mean, he's one of the strongest defensive tackles I've seen in years, and he's got good quickness. Mikhail Kamara, I thought was going to look overwhelmed as an undrafted defensive end who's 6 feet, 260, but he looked great in the minicamp, quick and explosive and confident. And then Stroman from Notre Dame is, more of a box safety, but he's an aggressive box safety. And Raj, this guy sees the play develop, and he's like all gas, no brakes. He just fires. And Larry Worth III out of Arkansas, I don't know exactly what his role is. He's a hybrid player, but he might be a linebacker in their scheme. And this guy can fly around and hit. So I don't know. Of those 5 guys, maybe they go 0 for 5 and none of them make the roster. But I think those are the wild cards on defense because Raheem Morris is a new set of eyes. And I really believe that a lot of these guys, especially in the secondary, Stroman and Worth, are guys that he probably handpicked. And I'm intrigued by all 5 of those guys on defense. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I know they're undrafted, but like I said, Raheem Morris, he's coming in, clean slate. Like, yeah, you have players on the roster that were starters or on the 53, but it's a clean slate. You're still, everybody's new to Raheem Morris. Like, at the end of the day, you got some rookies, you got some undrafted players. You go into training camp, the best players are going to make the roster. So maybe 1 or 2 of them make it. Maybe, hell, all of them. I don't know. Maybe none of them. Who knows? But they did get some good undrafted players. I think at least they'll make the practice squad at the very least. So, I mean, it's intriguing. It's always cool to see, like, those players because they work so hard during training camp. It's fun watching them because you can tell they're hustling and they really want to make the roster. And then over the years, if they do make the practice squad in a year or 2, it's like, oh, man, I remember when he was on practice squad. Like Azeez Al-Shahir. I remember when he was on the practice squad. And then, like, 2 years later, I'm like, oh, damn, that guy's amazing. And then you lose him and you're like, oh, he's turned into a star. So you never know. Undrafted players are cool. We'll see. Another guy we didn't mention, I definitely think it's an X factor. That obviously you got both, so you got all those guys. But also Zigalari, man.
Odigizua.
How do you say his name?
That was awesome. You threw an Ojolari in there.
Yeah, I knew I was gonna butcher
Odigizua, yes. Osa Odigizua.
This guy, man, look, they traded for him. He was like the big offseason acquisition. I know everybody thinks Mike Evans was the prize. Obviously, Mike Evans is great. But I don't think people talk about Osa enough. This guy's going to be a stud pass rusher from the interior. I'm excited to see. I'm more excited about him than I think I am about Mike Evans. Like, I know Mike Evans is going to be amazing. Like, that first touchdown he gets with Brock. Like, NFL posted all Mike Evans, like, red zone fade pass. That was an amazing post. But I'm just so excited for Osa.
I think that, and I think that's a great call. Why? Because think about it. We haven't really talked that much about him. But Dallas got themselves in a predicament, and you see it. It's no different than playing fantasy football with your buddies. And you got somebody, and he took a tight end in the first round, and then he went and reached for his quarterback, and then he took 3 receivers in a row, And then he got to the 8th round or whatever, and he's like, dude, I don't have any running backs. And then he reached for a running back. Why? Because he had to have one. You know, I feel like it's the same thing with Jerry Jones with the Cowboys. Him and his idiot kid are running the Cowboys. They're not real football guys. They're make-believe football guys. And they didn't want to pay Micah Parsons. And then they're like, all right, well, we'll trade him. And then, well, what do we want? Well, I don't know what we want. What can we get? Well, we can get Kenny Clark and some draft picks. Okay, let's take it. We like Kenny Clark. So now you have Osa and Kenny Clark. Then they look there and think, oh, wait a second. Quinnen Williams is available for draft picks. We have draft picks. We like Quinnen Williams. Let's go get Quinnen Williams. So then they bring in Quinnen Williams. And then at the end of the year, they're sitting there going, wait a second. We can't have Osa and Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark. And they probably should have gotten rid of Kenny Clark. Yeah. But guess what? Osa actually had better numbers last year than Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark. But they kept those guys and got rid of Osa. Why? Because Jerry Jones and his kid are idiots. They don't know football. And they just were like, hey, Kenny Clark's the new guy. We'll keep him. Quinnen Williams, the newest guy. We'll keep him. We'll get rid of Osa. But, dude, Osa's better than those guys.
He's good, man. He's going to be playing with the chip on his shoulder because I think he is. I don't know if he's better than Quinnen Williams. Quinnen Williams, he's a hell of a player.
He was better than Quinnen last year. I'm just saying he graded out.
From the Jets to the Cowboys. I'm not going to take it.
I know. I'm just saying. Everybody thinks Quinnen's better than
Of course,
Osa.
But Osa he had a hell of a year. I'm not saying it.
He had a better year, and yet they kind of put themselves into a corner, and they had to get rid of Osa. So, so the Niners got what you never see anybody get.
So good.
They get a defensive tackle who can rush the passer, who's in the prime of his career.
He's a Pro Bowl. Like, that's the type of, they got a Pro Bowl caliber guy at defensive tackle, and he's an interior rusher. So I'm like, he's probably just a step below Quinnen Williams, but he's not like far from him. He's a good player. It's like, wow. And this he bought a house there, right? He was ready to make his career as a Dallas, and then boom, they ship him. I think he's going to be playing a little pissed off, especially when he plays Dallas. Did you hear what he said with Richard Sherman? He says, I got this game circled on my calendar. Like, he's ready to take their heads off. I think when he sees Dak Prescott, he's coming for blood. He's coming for blood, baby.
Yeah, this guy says he can't play the run. Dallas couldn't play the run. To put it on that guy, I think is probably not right.
Well, we got Michael Williams. He's a great run edge stuffer. Hey, I just need Osa to run to the quarterback. All I need that man to do is get to the quarterback, because last year they couldn't. Nobody could do it. Nobody could do it.
No question. What did you see Tom Tolbert's 90 minutes with Shanahan and Lynch in his backyard?
It was good. That was good, man.
You watch that?
He was a little lit.
Why? What did you think he said that
Oh no, he was sitting there. Did you watch it at the beginning? He's sitting drinking the sponsor beer, and Lynch in shorts. But Lynch in shorts is diabolical. He's sitting there drinking. He's laughing. Every time Kyle was he was like, he was cracking up, dude.
I thought it was hilarious. I'm going to be joining Tommy T in the backyard for a session here pretty soon.
You need to.
What do you think, though? What did you get anything out of that? Was there any sound bites in that really stood out to you, or anything that you thought was really juicy in that 90 minutes that they did?
They didn't go and make any big news updates, but they had some good tidbits. Like when they were talking about how, when they scouted Brock Purdy and the night he came in against the Dolphins, and that was pretty cool when they knew what they had. And they, of course, they kind of rebacked with the Rich Eisen interview a couple weeks ago after the draft. Kyle Shanahan talked about how, look, hey, man, we don't care about the consensus. And John Lynch said it, hey, man, that's our people we want in our building. They kind of went over that kind of stuff again. And then they talked about the Australia game. And I like what John Lynch said. He goes, hey, man, we're going to beat their ass in whatever stadium they play in. I don't care where we're at. We're going to beat the Rams. You could tell that they didn't really like being shipped to Australia, but they're going to make the most of it. But no, it was good, man. And I think Kyle Shanahan, you mentioned it earlier, talking about how they really have to help CMC stay healthy and utilize some of these other guys. I thought it was a good interview. And I thought, it wasn't like, it's breaking news, like big news points that's going to be this week during OTAs, but it was definitely good to hear some of the stories. And Kyle was really just loose, and he was just telling you everything you need to know about the team. And he kind of looked at the roster and said, and he took some criticism. He kind of talked about how he knows he needs to win a Super Bowl and things like that. So overall, those are some of my big takeaways. It was good.
I liked the fact that, Tolbert gave him a, hypothetical. Hey, would you rather have that one Super Bowl win, but then be bad for, the rest of the decade? Or would you rather win, every year in the decade, but not win the Super Bowl? And Kyle, I love Kyle's answer. He's like, as soon as you said Super Bowl, I hadn't been able to think about anything else. It's like, that's what I want from Kyle at this point. And I believe that's what I believe Kyle is all about at this point. It's like he wants that ring bad. That's what he's after. That's the deal. And if the Niners get this ring, guess what? They're all made men. Jed's a made man with Denise and Dr. John. John Lynch is a made man, and he can be the GM for as long as he wants. Kyle's a made man, and he can stay as long as he wants. Brock Purdy's a made man. They're all made men if they win the Super Bowl. If they don't win the Super Bowl, eventually they're all going to get fired and it's going to be over. But if they do win the Super Bowl, I think they're made men, and I think that Shanahan's all about the Super Bowl. Even though he did say, hey, it would suck to just be good 1 year and be bad for 10 years.
I think. But
he wants that ring. I love that. To me, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and I think they know that because at the end of the day, you're right. Because I'll post something about Kyle Shanahan, or we'll give him his flowers in the comments. Oh man, it's like, oh well, you never would. That guy's choke-a-hand. He's a choke guy. Those go after his neck. It's like, dang.
Here we go.
Yeah,
Uncle Rico, child choke-a-hand.
But the moment if he wins the Super Bowl, I think all fans will be like, all right, great. It was worth the struggle. But you're right, because they haven't won a Super Bowl. Like, they've been close. Fans are tired. They're like, not all of them, but a lot of fans are pissed. Like, go get rid of them.
Kyle's had 10 years. Look at Uncle Rico.
Yeah, 10 years. And that's
like, who are you running him out for, dude? Go ahead. Who do you want?
But that's the thing.
Who are you going to bring in that's just going to be awesome?
If you get rid of Kyle and John Lynch, who do you replace him with? Like, they came in and they've done a good job. I mean, they replaced some really bad, GM and coach issues that we had, or some of those coaches were horrible. I get it. I want them to win Super Bowl too. But if you just get rid of them, what the hell are you going to replace them with? And will it be better? I don't know. But you're right, because if they don't win a Super Bowl now, let's say they go 3 more years, they don't win a Super Bowl. What the hell do we do? What the hell do we do, Larry? Get rid of them? Fire?
I think you got to give them a few more years. And I would say 2 or 3 more years and just evaluate. If you're further away over the next couple of years, if you have losing seasons, then you're not getting closer, then you evaluate where you're at. But I would say, 2 or 3 more years. And if they, in that time, they make it to another Super Bowl, they probably buy themselves a little bit more time. I'll say this. I mean, Philly won a Super Bowl when they said goodbye to Reed. But Reed went to Kansas City, found Mahomes, and built a mini dynasty. Do you think that Eagles fans are happy with getting rid of Reed? Or do you think that there were Eagles fans over the last few years going, Reed was pretty damn good. Maybe we should have kept Reed.
I mean, I think
they gave him 13 years in Philly. Then they got rid of him. He, in a lot of ways, is Kyle Shanahan all over again, or Kyle Shanahan's Andy Reid in Philly all over again. He's been good. He's been to big games. He's been to the ultimate game. He hasn't won it yet. Well, Philly, after 13 years, said, bye-bye, Andy. And now they got their Super Bowl with Peterson. Then they've got another with Sirianni. But, I mean, they got rid of a coach that built a bit borderline dynasty in Kansas City. Yeah, I kind of wonder if there's Eagles fans who are like, you know what? We wish we still had Reed. And I wonder if Niner fans, if Kyle Shanahan goes somewhere else and wins Super Bowls, multiple Super Bowls, you really think Niner fans could be like, we're fine with that? Probably not.
They'll be pissed. If Kyle leaves and they win Super Bowls, Larry, it's going to be disgusting. But I think initially Eagles fans were probably a little slighted because Andy Reid was a great coach. And I've seen that comparison through the years a lot. It's like, oh, well, Kyle, if he leaves and he finds a quarterback and he wins Super Bowl, it's going to be just like Andy Reid. And it took Andy Reid all these years because he had a great teams with Eagles. It's just always that quarterback, right?
McNabb.
Donovan McNabb couldn't take him. He just couldn't get over the hump. And then finally it was like, man, you've had all these years. You just can't do it. You can't get over the top. He goes to Kansas City, he finds Spags, great defense coordinator, and he finds Patrick Mahomes, or he drafts Patrick Mahomes. And that was, he also had Alex Smith for a little bit, and they were getting close. It was kind of like the Eagles when he was with the Chiefs. It was like he was knocking on the door, and then finally got Patrick Mahomes, put him over the top. and then he played the Niners also, which, not fun for us. But I think initially the Eagles probably were like, oh my God, now this guy won a Super Bowl. What the heck? But until they finally won one, now they've won, been winning the division. I think Eagles fans are okay with it now, especially after winning the Super Bowl. I think it kind of cured every, ailment. If the 49ers were to lose Shanahan and eventually the Niners win the Super Bowl, nobody's going to care about losing Shanahan. They're going to be happy. His fan base just needs a Super Bowl. Whoever the hell does it is going to be a saint for them. But I hope it's Shanahan, man. He's worked really hard. He's really improved this team over the years. He took over some horrible coaches, Tom Sula and Chip Kelly. Those are ugly years. And, he's brought a winning culture. It's just, he can't get over the top, man.
Well, I mean, look at it this way. I mean, think about it this way. You're to win a Super Bowl, it's really hard. Why? Because you got to pick the right coach. Then you got to pick the right quarterback. And then you got to have the right surrounding cast. And I think they have the right coach. And I think they have the right quarterback. And I think they're now trying to round out the surrounding cast. And if you get rid of Kyle and you go with a new quarterback, I mean, it's like, who knows? You could be years away. But I believe Kyle's good enough to get it done. I believe Purdy's good enough to get it done. I don't believe the Niners roster to this point has been good enough to get it done. But I think it could be on the verge of being there. We got to see some of these young players come of age.
I think they could have been. They should have, like last Super Bowls they lost. I think the roster was good enough.
It was good. Well, obviously wasn't. I mean, they didn't.
Well,
I mean, you're either good enough and you do.
They had to battle the refs in that Chiefs one, man. Nick Bosa getting held.
I mean, the first one, Bosa was held to death, and Jimmy G is lame. I think Brock Purdy would have won that first Super Bowl. That Jimmy G lost. I think Brock Purdy would have won that one, but unfortunately, Brock lost, and even though he walked off the field as a leader twice, both in regulation and in overtime, I really think he's going to get his ring. I really do. I almost believe more in Brock than I believe in anybody else with the Niners at this point. A couple more thoughts before we get out of here. Let's jump into our Prize Picks lineup for today. Prize Picks is America's #1 sports picks app. The reason I like it, it's simple. You're just picking more or less on player stats or game outcomes, building your lineup, and you're in. No complicated stuff, just what you think is going to happen in the game. Use code HMA, play $5, get $50 in lineups instantly. The link is in the description, and we will move us around. We'll move us in the corner here. We'll share the screen and bring our Prize Picks lineup to the deal, and then we will also got to change our thing over here. Hey, all right, we're cooking. All right, Raj, what would you like? Would you like you want NBA playoffs? You want baseball? You want NFL futures? What would you like to wager?
Let's do some NBA playoffs, baby. We got Game 6 coming up in 2 days.
Okay. What do you got?
Wemby's got to win this one, man.
Wembanyama, Caruso, Shea, Vassell, Fox, Chet. They actually have dunks here for Chet. That's kind of
dunks.
I'll say this. I like this guy.
You like Jared McCain?
I like Jared McCain, man. I'm a Jared McCain guy. He's a Sacramento kid. I loved him at Duke. He's a really good player. He's very underrated.
He's a good player.
Yeah, I like him a lot. Jared McCain, I'm going to go more than 11.5 points for Jared McCain.
That when the Sixers traded him away, that was the stunt. I can't believe the Thunder got him. That was the steal of the century.
Sam Presti's a great
almost was Rookie of the Year last year.
Guy's terrific. The other guy that I like this guy right here, Julian Champagny, who played at St. John's.
Champagny, I like
Champagny, whatever his name is. I loved him at St. John's. He's a flat out guy, can absolutely shoot.
He was the only one doing anything for the Spurs tonight, man.
Yeah, I love him. His game is just so pure, so pure. So I like those two guys. Is there any that you want to throw in the mix here?
Let's. What do we got for Wemby?
Wemby, you've got 26.5 points.
He's got to have it. He's got to do it. He's got to go.
Or you can go with more than 3 dunks or less than 3 dunks.
That's it. That's all they're giving me.
Yeah. That's it. Those are your options. Those are your Wemby options.
He's got to dominate the paint. I'm gonna go with more than 3 dunks.
More than 3 dunks.
If he wants to win, he's got to take it inside, man.
All right, let's do our wager. Right now it says 20, but we're not going 20. We're gonna go with 5. Okay. And we'll wager. We'll put our lineup together. Wait a second. Hold on. Just got to grow the screen. There we go. Submit the lineup. Takes a second. But then there it is. Here it is right here. View our lineup. So we have a 3-pick power play. $5 pays us 30. Jared McCain has got to have at least 12 points. Julian Champagny has got to score at least 11 points. And Big Vic has got to have at least he's got to have over 3 dunks.
Got to go 4 dunks.
4 dunks for Vic.
They made him shoot tonight, man.
Yeah, but it's you never know on the dunks. I mean, it's kind of random. But there you go. And our 3-pick power play. Thank you to Prize Picks for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. And we will now move us back to the correct format. And like that, we're back. Okay, a couple last things. I want to share the screen on this. This is an interesting tweet that I saw today. They had the player that is most likely to be traded on every team. Did you see this?
I didn't see this.
You know who the Niner was? If you had to guess, what would you say if I said to you, it's not, you can't see it right now, but it's like,
I can't see it. I'm not.
So if I said to you, trade candidate from the 49ers ahead of the upcoming season, who would you think that they would have?
I'm going to say probably a running back, maybe Isaac Guerrero.
Jesus, Isaac, you saw this?
No, I swear I haven't seen that.
You didn't see this?
No.
That is.
Oh, it's Isaac Guerrero.
Isaac Guerrero. Look at Raj. Winner, chicken dinner. Tell him what he's won. Bob, tell him what he's won. He's won a brand new car.
Did I?
Isaac Guerrero is the 49er most likely to be traded, according to this, per Pro Football Network. What do you think of this list, though? Is there a player on this list that you would love to see the 49ers trade for this summer? Because I got a couple on here that I really think would be great.
Blake Fisher, I wouldn't hate that. Get some offensive line depth.
Okay. God, I was not expecting you to say that.
Oh, Kayvon Thibodeau. Oh, go give me Kayvon.
Kayvon Thibodeau's down there with the New York Giants. Defensive end. The 2 guys that I like, and they're listed pretty much back to back. Colby Parkinson from the Rams. You know what? No Kittle. The Niners have not gotten that tight end. To me, it's like I don't want to see Kittle rushing back. And Colby Parkinson had a good playoff run. He's played in Seattle. He's played in LA. He knows those teams. He's gone up against those defenses in practice. I like Colby Parkinson if the Rams want to trade him, and I like Jordan Addison. The 49ers are only going to have so many roster spots. They can't have all these developmental receivers. They just can't. Yeah. Sorry, Cowing, Watkins, all these guys. There's like, you've got the for sure guys, right? You got Kirk, and you got Mike Evans, and you think Ricky Pearsall and Stribling. Those 4 guys are your prime guys. But man, if you could get one more good receiver and trade maybe a draft pick, maybe Jordan Watkins has a good summer. I like Jordan Addison from Minnesota, and I realize
he's great, but I don't think they're going to get rid of him. But
this thing says they may.
They might. He looked good.
I've heard rumors that he's going to be available.
We'll see.
If I'm the Niners, every roster spot's important. And even though you got good depth at receiver, the reality is that a lot of those guys are young receivers. Kyle Shannon's never going to play them. They're never going to break through. So instead of sitting there and battling all these young receivers, you heard Kyle talk about it. To me, the most startling Kyle Shanahan quote of the offseason was when he basically said, we're looking for men at wide receiver. They've had a bunch of kids. They've had a bunch of draft picks. They've had a bunch of guys who they invested picks in that haven't, come to fruition. Their talent hasn't blossomed. And I just think they're getting tired of the young receiver. And I like Cowing. I like Watkins. I like Pearsall. But if these guys don't step up, I could see the 49ers trading a couple of these guys with a pick and trying to get a better receiver. I can see it.
Makes sense. They got Evans. They got Christian Kirk, two older veteran receivers. I mean, it makes sense if they want some men. They definitely don't want Jacob Cowing. He looks 12, but we'll see what happens. Now, interesting. We said Isaac Grendo. I'd keep an eye on Green Bay Packers maybe trying to trade the Niners because what happened with Josh Jacobs today, the little
I didn't see
legal issues. You never know.
No, what happened with Jacobs?
He got arrested for domestic violence. But I mean, all that's how that's gonna go. We'll see. But
yeah, you never
got
know.
arrested. They got his mugshot. So you never know. We'll see.
You never
Packers
know.
might be needing a running back just in case.
And Grendo played at Wisconsin. Before he played at Louisville, I think he played at Wisconsin.
He did.
And he I'll say this about Grendo. Grendo is so big, so fast, and so athletic that all it's going to take is for him to have one preseason game moment, and somebody will be like, yeah, we'll take him. 230-pound back who runs in the 4.3s. Yeah, we'll take him. I mean, he is in his own category in some ways. He's that athletic of a player. All right. Well, we appreciate everybody. Let me just finish on this note. What's the camp battle that you're looking forward to seeing? Because we know there's going to be a few.
So many. There's so many. But if I got to pick one and narrow it down, well, I'll do what I did. I'll go defense and offense. That safety battle, man. Because right now, safety is probably the one position that 49ers are kind of lacking the most. I feel like they're a really good safety away from being a dominating defense, right? And we've talked
a lot of people are talking about Jesse Bates. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I saw that.
Why are people talking about Jesse Bates? Why would Atlanta trade him?
They wouldn't. It's just Coach Yak put it out there and says, well, should we get him? They just, it's off season.
Yeah. Okay.
But there's no rumor. There's no
rumor.
There's no ties to him being sent out. But again, Raheem Morris, he coached there. Maybe there's ties. Maybe he'll bring him in. But people reach for straws. But that safety battle is very important for the 49ers. They have to pick the right player. And maybe Raheem Morris is going to see these guys and say, oh, this is bad. Maybe we will call up Jesse Bates because the Niners safeties aren't good. So to me, the safety battle is very, very, very critical. I'm really going to be interested because is Marquis Siegel going to take a year 2 leap? We talked about Nick Martin. Can Marquis Siegel take that leap? I don't know. He started a little bit last year. Jair Brown, he's out there. He's got Dante Whitner in the back of his mind. Is he going to step up and prove him wrong? We'll see. And then on offense, it's the left guard spot, man. Who the heck is going to walk away and be the starting left guard?
I'm going to give you a name that I think is interesting. Everybody's talking about Jesse Bates. I think, that's the low-hanging fruit. He's a starter at strong safety opposite Xavier Watts. They're paying him a significant amount of money. They paid him a significant amount of money in free agency to leave Cincinnati and come to Atlanta. I'm going to give you 2 other names that I think could be Niners safety. Because I agree with you, by the way. The safety thing's very up in the air. What do you got? You got Malik Mustafa, but is Mustafa proven? Not really. No. I mean, I like him a lot, but I don't think he's really proven. He's a hitter. He's really strong. Jair Brown's had some great moments. He's also had some horrible moments. And there's a lot of Niner fans that are really out on Jair. And then Marquis Siegel, you can say the exact same thing about. He's had some phenomenal moments. And I think he's probably the best starter next to Malik Mustafa. But he's also had some other games where it's like he looks like a fish out of water. He doesn't look right. And then you've got Raheem Morris. And he was in Atlanta last year. And everybody is quick to say Jesse Bates because he's in Atlanta. I'm going to give you 2 names that I think are more likely to wind up in San Francisco than Jesse Bates. Jamie Robinson. Jamie Robinson played at Florida State. He was a draft pick by Carolina in the 5th round of the 23 draft. Last year, Raheem Morris brought him to Atlanta and then made him active late in the year in a game. Jamie Robinson is a leader. He's an alpha. He's tough. I could see him not making, he's down the depth chart with Atlanta. Atlanta's got Xavier Watts. They've got Jesse Bates. They signed Sidney Brown away from the Eagles. They have Darren Hall comes in from Arizona. They have DeMarco Helms. They got a bunch of guys. And so there's a chance Jamie Robinson doesn't make it. I think he's a pretty good player. And so I wouldn't be surprised if he was here. I wouldn't be surprised if Billy Bowman was here. Billy Bowman was a Raheem Morris draft choice who is, we'll see. I mean, he might be the starting nickel for the Falcons, but he also may not be the starting nickel. And if so, a guy like Billy Bowman might be somebody that I could see Raheem Morris knocking on the door for. He just drafted him in the 4th round last year out of Oklahoma, and he's a pretty good player. He really is. And I could see either of those two guys being, everybody says Jesse Bates. I saw Lombardi saying Jesse Bates and Coach Yak saying Jesse Bates, but I think the names that are probably more likely than Bates, Jamie Robinson, Billy Bowman, much more gettable, I think, than Jesse Bates. All right, that is going to do it for us. Thank you to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thank you to Prize Picks for being a great sponsor. Thank you to Nevada Chevrolet. And also thank you to Alomar Marina. That's right, alomarmarina.net. Float while you dine on the Sacramento River. Check them out. They got a great restaurant, 5999 Garden Highway, open Wednesday through Sunday. Try the shrimp tacos. We're big fans of Alomar Marina. Their website is alomarmarina.net. And also thank you to Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles. The great Anthony Catania is at 205 Cypress Avenue in Pacific Grove, California on the Monterey Peninsula. Give him a call. He's at 831-521-5264. Sharp Corners 831 on Instagram. If you tell him you're a fan of the show, he will pay your shipping, free shipping on all items for Krug Show fans. So thank you to Anthony Catania and the good people at Sharp Corners. Raj, that's going to do it for us. OTAs on Thursday, and man, training camp is just around the corner. I'll give you the final word.
Larry, do we have any supers? That's my final word.
Oh yeah,
you got to come on, man.
We do have
these people.
We do have one. We have this one.
Hard.
Mendez says, "What's your opinion on Josh Sweat?" That's a good one. Josh Sweat. Now this is an interesting one. Josh Sweat was a Philadelphia Eagle. Jonathan Gannon was his coach. Gannon got hired by the Arizona Cardinals. Sweat followed Gannon to Arizona. Then and Sweat had a Pro Bowl year last year under Gannon. Then they fired Gannon, and now Sweat's pissed and he wants out. That I'll say this. I know 49ers don't want to trade Mac Jones and this and that, but if the Cardinals want to come correct and they want Mac Jones instead of Jacoby Brissett or whatever they're going to go with, instead of the Miami rookie Carson Beck, if they decide they need Mac Jones, the offers better start with Josh Sweat.
Josh Sweat for Mac Jones straight up? Is that the move?
I'd do it. I would do that. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind a little bit more, but Josh Sweat is a Pro Bowl defensive end who I believe, didn't he have 12 and a half sacks last year? He had a bunch of sacks.
Sweat and Bosa? That's nasty.
Sweat and Bosa.
But the dilemma is you're trading Mac Jones to a divisional rival.
I know. It's a tough call.
It's tough.
Would you trade? I'll just ask you, would you trade Mac Jones to the Cardinals straight up for Josh Sweat, or would you want more?
God, I mean, it's a fair trade. It's easy. It's definitely a fair trade straight up. I think it's fair. I just, man, if Purdy goes down and we have to rely on Curtis Rourke, I'm going to shit myself. But your defense gets so much improved with Josh Sweat and Bosa. I would do it, but you just got to pray that Brock Purdy stays healthy, man.
It's really about how good's Curtis Rourke.
Yeah.
Do you think Curtis Rourke's let me ask you that on the way out here. What do you think of Curtis Rourke? Do you think Curtis Rourke is going to be finish the sentence? Curtis Rourke ultimately in the NFL will be
a backup quarterback.
Backup.
He's
never going to start.
Yeah. Backup.
Not a starter.
Just because Brock Purdy was a 7th round wonder, like a special guy.
Right.
They're not gonna repeat what they did with Brock Purdy. If they did, holy crap, Kyle Shanahan is a legend for getting 2 7th round, or was he undrafted? No, he was 7th round. Curtis Rourke was 7th round. If they did it again, I'll go crazy. But there's no chance. I will say he has a lot of heart for playing through ACL, injury in college, but there's no chance. I think Curtis Rourke's going to become like a a all-time starter in this league. I think he'll be a perennial backup.
Yeah, my guess is Curtis Rourke. Here's the question, though. I think Curtis Rourke is a backup. I agree with you. But we also, Curtis Rourke is an unknown. And now he's in year 2 in the Niners system. And it's a good system. And they got good talent around him. And he knows the system. What if he comes out in the preseason and looks great?
Great.
If I'm the Niners, if he looks great in the here would be the ultimate question. If Curtis Rourke looks great in the preseason, do the Niners stay disciplined and say, Brock's our guy, Mac's our number 2, and we'll trade Curtis Rourke? Or do the Niners react to Curtis Rourke being good in the preseason by saying, we don't need Mac Jones, we'll trade him? Because if I see Curtis Rourke be good in the preseason, I would trade Curtis Rourke.
I would trade Curtis Rourke because the preseason, to me, has no bearing on anything. If he's good in the preseason, good for him. You're traded. We're getting something out of you. Great, because Mac Jones is better than you regardless if you look great in the preseason. Let somebody else ruin their roster and say, oh, this guy's something. Trade him. If he boosts his stock up this offseason, you trade him or during preseason. And
here's why, by the way, people who are like, Rourke's on the practice squad. Rourke will be on the practice squad if he sucks.
Yeah.
If he plays poorly in the preseason, he'll be on the practice squad. If he plays well in the preseason, he won't make it through waivers to the practice squad. There's too many teams looking for a quarterback. He played at Indiana. He's 6'6". If a guy has a good preseason, he's gonna be claimed off waivers. I mean, that much we know. That's why he's gonna be traded. If he plays well, he'll be traded. If he plays poorly, he'll be waived and then re-signed to the practice squad.
Unless they pull out, like I said, I keep thinking they're gonna pull some like PUP, or they're gonna find a loophole if they're like shit.
Well,
and they
there's always an injury pack.
There's always an injury because the Niners are also too. I think especially the last 2 years, the Niners have really gotten smart into like safeguard their roster. Like, oh, we're gonna get injured. The substation's there, whatever. All the jokes you want to make, but like honestly, there's gonna be some injury, and you can't plan for it. But you have to make sure that you have these barriers in place. You have some players that are going to be there just in case for insurance, right? And I think they'll figure a way to say, damn, this Rourke guy's really good. If we trade him, are we going to have that third quarterback? I don't know. Like, because the Niners, this is crazy because the Niners are the one team where they've actually had to rely on that third quarterback. A lot of teams, they don't think about that. But the Niners are always thinking, right? If they didn't have to get to this point, you wouldn't have found Brock Purdy. So I think the Niners know if they really find something with Curtis Rourke, they're going to find a way. If they don't want to trade him, they're going to find a way to keep, because they did it with Brock. A couple years ago, it was like, this guy's making the roster, not just practice, but they knew it. They did it. He's making the damn roster. And people are like, well, they got 3 quarterbacks on this team. And they were smart for doing it. So I think if they really, 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 really like this kid, and he does tear it up, and they don't want to trade him, they're going to find a way to keep him on the roster there.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see because I've done that roster 53-man cut down already. And it is a bear.
I know.
It is a bear. It's going to be really hard to make this team. It's going to be really hard for the Niners to go with more than 2 quarterbacks. It's going to be really hard for the Niners to go with more than 4 running backs. It's going to be really hard for the 49ers to go with more than 2 tight ends. Because why? Because they have so many offensive and defensive linemen. And you're going to cut all those guys? You're going to cut all those guys you signed and drafted? No, you're going to keep them. So they're going to probably go with an extra O lineman, an extra D lineman, maybe 2. And that's going to make them go short in some other areas. So we'll see. We'll see it. That's not till late August. All right. That's going to do it for us. Thanks to Raj. Thanks to all of you. We appreciate every single one of you guys. Thanks for hanging out on a Tuesday night. And until next time, we appreciate all of you guys. Thanks for supporting the Krug Show. Peace.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful.